Hi everyone, my name is Sunita Viswanath, and I am a co-founder and board member of Sadhana, which is a coalition of progressive Hindus. And our organization is all volunteer as well, and we're only 4 years old. And I'm here, I'm so proud to be here, and I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm representing progressive Hindus, my colleagues in Sadhana and other organizations, especially the contingent who was in Rome advocating fiercely for climate action. Sadhana is a broad social justice organization. We're striving to connect the progressive values and principles at the heart of our faith with social action. And we want to mobilize Hindus to make loud their good deeds that they do very, very nobly but privately. And we're trying to make a force for justice in this world.
Share with the people here of a starting point for you, of how you maybe engaged a member of your congregation or your group, how you started out sort of identifying to make change happen through incorporating and bringing other people on board. So that's sort of our first dialogue question, and please just jump in and let's do it together.
I'd like to jump in because I think my project is probably the smallest among all the champions, and it's straight from the heart. As a Hindu for almost 25 years, I've been working on women's rights, and I've seen that as my dharma, my rightful duty as a Hindu. And later on in life, in the last 4 years, with colleagues, I've been able to speak as a Hindu, come out as a Hindu, and speak about doing social justice work as my dharma, as my duty. And one legitimate path to God or to truth in Hinduism, equivalent and equally important to the others, is karma, work, action. There's also devotion, there's also knowledge, but I guess my way of living a meaningful life has been to do. And so it was very important for sadhana, which means faith in action or praxis, to have a project. And so our project is called Project Prithvi. It's an environmental project. Prithvi is Mother Earth. And it's very simple and small, and it's magical. There's a beach in Queens, there's several, we've adopted one, where Hindus worship. And they put their offerings with all their prayers and love and yearning into the water. The water is divine, the air is divine, the earth is divine. This is devout prayer. The problem is that the offerings go into the water and wash back up, and on any given day when you go to the beach, you will see them strewn across the beach, entangled with garbage. And what happens is every month we go to temples and we speak to priests and we engage them in advocacy about the contradiction of worshiping earth and defiling earth and how that makes no sense. And the priests help us motivate and mobilize devotees to come out on a monthly basis and clean up with us. And that's where the change happens, which it's transformation, it's revolution. Every single time the volunteers who come out with us, and sometimes there's 100, will talk about how pained they are to see their offerings, a broken Ganesha, a broken Lakshmi, face down in the dirt, wrapped up with filth. And that pain is what leads them, and it happens at the beach cleanups. Those volunteers will go to somebody who's doing a puja, which is worship, at the beach, and say to them, what are you going to do with these offerings? Don't put them into the water. And right there in front of our eyes, we see that change happening. And it's remarkable. I just want to say that in Hinduism, we are all one, and this is true in all of our faiths. In one way or another, we feel that we're part of a sacred oneness, and there's an immanent divinity in all of us, regardless of race, religion, gender, caste, species even. And so this idea that we are one with the earth is very natural. It feels very right to a Hindu, and so it's not hard to get us to see that if we discriminate, if we perpetrate violence to each other or the earth, we suffer. And our suffering can lead us to action, and that's what we're trying to do in sadhana.
And so keeping with this tradition of making hope happen, that we want to see transformation both on the individual basis, but then collectively for societal change of funding this clean energy revolution, of reducing carbon pollution. I'd like to ask each one of you, if you have a story, you don't have to mention names, of an individual who you've seen transformed within your area of service, who now is joined with you as a partner, is maybe even moving beyond you to organize other people, to help other people, to be part of this hopeful generation to make a new world. So again, I'll throw it open to anybody that wants to start out, and I think we have an answer right there. You ready to go?
Yeah.
I think the transformation happened in the organization. When the 7 or so of us started Sadhana, we were each completely disconnected inside. For me, I was doing my Afghan women's rights work. And absolutely, from this was my faith in action. I was going to where the need was the greatest and doing my social justice work, but I would never have said that. And at home, in my family, I would go to temple on my kids' birthdays. They all shaved their head when they were 1, and one of my sons is here right now. They had the Annaprashanam, first solid food ceremony. In my own way, I was practicing my Hinduism, but keeping it separate from my social justice work, knowing inside that they were connected. And this is true of all the members of Sadhana. And we, over the course of building this little organization that's brought so much meaning to our life, have brought ourselves together, and we speak in a more whole way. But also the organization, when we first started, I feel that we were, anybody could have joined. And at this point, 4 years on, we really do place our work, if you like, in the prophetic tradition. We want our work to take place where the need is the greatest, where people are poor, where the environment is suffering, where people are marginalized, disenfranchised, and made invisible. That's where we want to do our work. And that's been the evolution and growth of the organization. We haven't even gotten started yet. So it's very powerful personally to each of us in the organization.
So I would like, starting with Steve, one sentence to close up your remarks, and we'll work our way down, and then we'll leave it to the next group.
I'm going back to the pain points. I think living on this earth today, we must feel the pain, because there's so much suffering, and there's so much violence, and there's so much destruction of our planet. So we must feel that pain. But that feeling of the pain must be transformative. And I think that, most of our philosophies and religions tell us this, but in Hinduism, once we lose that sense of separation from each other, once we feel one with this universe, there can be no selfish action. And that is where the hope lies. From there starts the hope. And to Hindus who are listening, I want to bring you to one of our favorite texts, the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, "With love and devotion, offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, and I will receive your love." Let us remember those words, and remember that Krishna is the taste of water and the fragrance of the earth. And the Bhagavad Gita is a call to action, just like the Pope's encyclical. So let us not just think of these beautiful thoughts, but let us act together.